brothers and sisters, may the Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. As Jesus passed by, 2 blind men followed him, crying out, "Son of David, have pity on us." When he entered the house, the blind men approached him and Jesus said to them, "Do you believe that I can do this?" "Yes, Lord," they said to him. Then he touched their eyes and said, "Let it be done for you according to your faith." And their eyes were opened. Jesus warned them sternly, "See that no one knows about this." But they went out and spread word of him through all of the land. The Gospel of the Lord. I mentioned at the beginning of the Advent season that the scriptures that the church presents to us during this time focus on those prophecies in the Old Testament tradition, and then in turn on the miracles and stories that Jesus did to show the linkage that, in fact, Jesus is the fulfillment of all the promises that had been made prior. We surely see a classic example of that today, as we heard from the book of Isaiah, first of all, about the blind being able to see and coming out of gloom and darkness as a result of that sight. And then in turn in the gospel text, Jesus healing these 2 blind men. Also, I had suggested at the beginning of our journey that always in conjunction with these miracle stories in the New Testament tradition, it's always kind of focused specifically not just on an exterior healing, but far more importantly, an interior healing. And the interior healing comes about as a result of the faith level that people have in seeking Jesus' cure. And so we see this again today in the gospel text where Matthew tells us that when Jesus goes and touches their eyes, he says to them, "Let it be done for you according to your faith." So it's the faith that they have that is sort of the prerequisite, if you will, and the catalyst out of which the healing takes place. These 2 blind men obviously had a sight much the same as other people have in faith. Not the sight of your eyes necessarily, but the interior understanding and vision that only comes with faith. And so they recognize and see Jesus for who he is. As a result of that, end up having as well their own physical sight cured again. Each of us might have blind spots in our eyes where we still miss sometimes the moments of God operative in our lives, or the fact that God is calling us to certain things. And so just like those stories in the gospel, we're asked to ask the Lord in faith to heal us from the divisions that are in us, heal us from the blindness that sometimes occurs, heal us from the deafness where we don't hear the message necessarily as strongly as we could.